Hello everyone, welcome to Programming Solutions. So in last video we have seen some of the tricky code snippets, and in today's video also we are going to see some more tricky coding interview questions which are asked in interviews. Okay, so let's start with our next question. So this question is related to the method overriding concept in Java. So let's see what is the question. Okay. So here we have one class A, and in this class A we have one method called M1, and then we have created one more class B, and in this B class also we have the same method M1, only the implementation is different. Okay, and this B class is extending the A class. Okay, so here the parent class is A and the child class is B. Okay, and in both the classes we have same method M1. Okay, so if we have the same method name and the signature, then we call it as a method overriding. Okay, so here this M1 method is overridden in the B class, which is a child class. Okay, now in our main class what we are doing, we have created the object of A. Okay, or the reference of A, and here we have created the object of the B class, and then we are calling A dot M1. So what will be the output of this program? It will be A class M1 or B class M1. Okay, so let's understand. So in the method overriding means what? Runtime polymorphism. Okay, so which method need to invoke, that will be decided at runtime. Okay, so here at runtime the object of a B class is created, and then the method call will go to the B class. Okay, so first whenever we are writing a.m1, it will check in the B class do we have m1 method. If we found the M1 method in the B class, then it will call the B class M1 method. Okay, so if I run the program, then we will get the output as B class M1. Okay, so let's save this and run. So see here we are getting the output as a B class M1. Okay, now here at a runtime, the object of B class will be created and the B class M1 method is called. Okay, but if we don't have this this M1 method inside our B class, then first it will check do we have the method M1 in B class. If we find the M1 method inside this B class, then it will call that method, and if there is no method in this B class, then it will check in the parent class, which is A. Do we have any M1 method in the parent class? And if in the parent class we found the M1 method, then it will call the parent class M1 method. Okay, so now if I save this and run the program, then we will get A class M1. See here. Okay, so let's do Ctrl Z and let's debug the program one more time. So I will keep the debug points here and then here in the first line. Now let's start this program in the debug mode. So first our debug came at line number 13. Okay, so now if I do next line, then it is calling, see here, the call went to the B class M1 method. Okay, and here we found the M1 method, so the call will not go to the A class M1 method. Okay, so if I do next line, see here, our program will end now. Okay, and the output will be B class M1. So if we have the M1 method inside our B class, then it will not check inside the A class. Okay, so that's why the output will be B class M1, and this is the example of method overriding. Okay, in so many interviews you will get this type of question, so you can prepare for it. Now let's see the another question. We can see the similar kind of question. Okay, so let me open my notes and let me copy. Or this is also the same question, only difference we have to do is that this method should be static. Okay, so if we are making the static methods, then what will happen? Okay, so when the methods in the normal methods, it was calling the B class M1 method. Okay, so now what we have the class A. Inside this class A we have one static M1 method, and inside the class B also we have the same static M1 method, and then this B class is extending the A class. Okay, now in the main class, what we are doing, in the main class we have created the object of B and assigned to the A class reference. Okay, and then we are calling A.M1. So in this case, what will be the output? So in the interviewer may ask you this type of questions to confuse you, because just before this question we have seen the same pattern, only this method was not static. So in that case it was method overriding. Okay, and here as these are the static methods, and we know that static methods we can't override. Even if we have the same method name and same method signature, still it is not method overriding. It is a method hiding. Even if you can see here, this M1 is hidden. Okay, so see here, this M1 is hidden. Okay, now for the static methods, the binding will happen at compile time only, or when the class will load, that time only the binding for the static methods will be happen. Okay, so at a compile time the object or the reference of A class is created, and at runtime the object of B class is created. Okay, so here as we have the reference of A class at compile time or at the time of class loading, so whenever we are writing A.M1, the call will go to the A class M1 method. So call will go to this method, not this method. Okay, so if I start this program in the debug mode, then you can see that. So let it be start. So first we came to our first line in the main method. Now let's go to the next line. So here we have written A.M1, and from here the call will go to A class M1, not B class M1. Okay, so see here, this is the M1 method present inside the A class. Why it went here? Because it is the static method, and static method binding will happen at a class loading time only. But if it is not the static method, then in that case call will go to the B class method, because if we don't have the static keyword here, then it will be method overriding, and method overriding will happen at runtime. Okay, so now if I do next, see here, the output is A class M1. Okay, so I hope you are clear now with these two questions, with static and without static. So here you should know what is method overriding, and does static methods support method overriding or not. In the interview they may ask you, can we override the static methods? So your answer will be, we cannot override the static method, or static methods doesn't support method overriding. But still, if we are writing the same method with the same method signature, then that will be not the method overriding, but we can say that that is method hiding, because the method which we have written in the child class will be hidden, okay, and the call will go to the parent class method, okay. So in this case, whenever we are writing a.m1, it will call the a class m1 method, okay. So I hope this is clear to you, okay. Now we have covered 2 questions. So let's see one more question. So this is covered. Now let's see this question. So let me copy this and paste here. Okay, so here what we have created, so let me just remove the breakpoints. So here I have one test interface, and inside this test interface I have one variable I, and I have assigned the value as a 10. In the main class we have created the main method, and inside this main method I am trying to assign the different value or reassign the value to this I variable which is in the test interface class, interface, okay. Now here we are trying to print what will be the value for this test interface dot I, okay. So now here if you see here, we are getting some red line or some error, compile time error, okay. So why we are getting this error? So if you know the concept of the interface, you already must know that in the interface the variable will be final, public final, okay. So even if we are not writing here, it will be public final, okay. And when we are writing it as a final, or even if we are not writing here public final, by default it will be final, okay. And for the final variable we cannot reassign the value, right? So that's the reason we are getting here red mark, okay. So if we over here see here, we are getting the message cannot assign a value to final variable I, okay. This is also a bit confusing because here I have pasted it directly in our IDE, so IDE is directly showing the error message. But in the interview you may get this question in they can ask you orally or in the simple notepad. If they paste this code snippet, then if you don't know the interface concept, then you may able to answer, or your answer will be like 12 or 10. But if you know the interface concept, then you must know this will be the final variable and we cannot reassign the value to the final variable, okay. So that's why here answer will be compile time error. If I save this and try to run, we will get the same error. See here, cannot assign a value to final variable I, okay. So I hope you understood these 3 questions. First was related to the method overriding, second was related to the method hiding, and third is related to the interface variable, okay. So that's it for today's video. The remaining questions we will see in the next video. So thank you.